Stanley, page 85 and 86 from the bottom of page 84. It bounced violently against the rim of the ring and rebounded at great speed. It was the referee who felt the full impact of this rebound. The ball struck him on the head, sending his glasses flying and leaving him lying on the ground, badly dazed and trying to figure out just what exactly had happened. Stanley had knocked out the referee. When the poor man eventually got back on his feet, he decided to continue with the game as there was less than a minute remaining. The game ended all square at 20 points each. In the end, however, Stanley's Wildcats were beaten on a free shot shootout. There is no prize for guessing who missed the vital shot for the Wildcats. This time, at least, he did actually throw the ball. Other sports proved equally and sometimes even more disastrous. Even with all the children wearing protective headgear, face visors and shin pads, Stanley found a way of making hurling impossible. Nobody would play either with or against him. He swung the hurley so wildly around his head that he looked like a helicopter in flight. In attempting to hit the ball on the ground, his aim was so poor that the hurley usually ended up implanted somewhere between the head and toes of another player, not necessarily on the opposing team. Sods of turf would fly in every direction as he tried in vain to make contact between the hurley and the slitter. After each game or practice session, the pitch would be so full of divots and burrows, it resembled the crater-dotted surface of the moon. No amount of coaching would work. Stanley was uncoachable. Page 86. He was too wild, a hurling no-go area. In short, Stanley was a failed hurler. Stanley didn't look at it that way, however. He thought he was brilliant. He felt that neither his hurling coach nor his fellow hurlers appreciated his genius. Nobody had the ability to recognize the new style he had introduced to the game of hurling. He was born too soon. He was ahead of his time. Stanley found himself sitting on the sideline while the hurling league was in progress. Banned from taking part, he still refused to accept rejection. He pleaded for the opportunity to display his special talents. These pleas were not listened to by his hurling coach, Mr. Keane. On one occasion, he argued with Mr. Keane. Hurling is a game for men, he claimed, in defense of his own ferociously violent technique, which had resulted in his being barred from the league. Maybe, Stanley, but not cavemen, came the curt reply. Despite such a lack of understanding, Stanley did not give up in his quest. He would find his niche in another sport, or maybe in several other sports. Stanley, the multi-talented. Stanley, the mega sports star supreme. Stanley, the champion of champions. Stanley, the great. Finding greatness was not as easy a task as it seemed. However, each time an opportunity arose for Stanley to demonstrate his champion-like qualities, he either seemed to miss it or else to flunk it splendidly.